In this video, I'm going to talk about the new Injora brushless system that just recently came out, the MBL32G2, and I'm going to talk about how I hooked it up, some tips and tricks to what I went through hooking it up, and then a quick review of it. So looking at the brushless system on the actual transmission here, I have mine facing back. I didn't want it facing forward so it would hit the battery, but here's the little brushless piece here. That's about the scale and size. This is the new version of the brushless ESC that just came out, so the MBL G2 is how you know that this is the newer one right there. A couple of things. I'm using the stock ESC that came with the scx24. I didn't want to get a new remote, so I'm using the stock remote and the stock ESC. The way to do that and connect it to this, and it would be the same for an aftermarket remote, is there's a little tiny black and gray wire coming from the brushless ESC right here, and that just goes into your channel 2 on your ESC. You'll notice I took the housing off, but that's going to be the second connector right here on the actual stock ESC. The steering servo or steering piece here is just connected to channel 1 as the normal scx24 comes with, and that's managing the steering. After that, I'm using the stock battery, so I'm just using the stock connector. This connector, along with another 2 or 3, came in the box, and I'm just using that connector, and I just kind of zip tied it all together. But you have different types of connectors if you have a different type of battery. I think that that's in the product description if you want more details on that. After that, you're going to see on the MBL32 right here, you're going to see these 3 wires on this side that go to the actual motor brushless system. That's going to come around here right into the actual brushless motor here. Mine was going in forward when I was doing reverse and backwards when I was going forward. So all I did was unplug this black connector, or this black cord that has this white connector right here, and all I did was unplug it by clicking on or pulling on one of those tabs that you see and reversing one of these so it was in a different order, and then plugging it in until I got the forward and reverse working correctly there. They're kind of little brittle plastic tabs, but if you get something sharp you can usually pick them up and the wire just pops right out, so you can just kind of get it to the point where the motor goes forward when you're going forward and reverse when you're going in reverse. To actually power it on, once you have it all connected up right, you're just going to press the white switch on the actual ESC. It's going to make a little sound, and you're going to notice that it's in red, and it usually just keeps beeping until you actually turn on the remote. So let's turn on the stock remote right here. Once you do that, it turns green and makes some sound, and now it's working to the point where I can steer, and I can also go in forward or reverse. That's a new issue here. Here, we'll give it a second. Let's just repower on the remote, turn it off and on again. Okay, that's working now. So I just had to power it on and off again. So going on a slow crawl, if I just slightly hold down the trigger, you'll see it's got a nice slow crawl. As I'm pressing the trigger or holding down the trigger, we've got a really slow crawl on the actual RC. So compared to the stock brushed motor, it goes extremely slow in comparison. And then the only other thing that I noticed with this brushless system is it almost has a second gear. So as you start moving, you start going forward, when you get to a certain part on the trigger, it kind of kicks into a higher speed. I haven't been bugged by that much. I'm not sure if brushless systems typically do that, but I still like the control of the slow crawl on this brushless system and being able to make some really refined movements with the scx24, and I haven't seen a lot of issues with that. So the kind of kicking into the second gear, I think that's fairly normal for brushless systems, but I'm sure that could also be solved by getting a better remote in ESC if you didn't want to use the stock one, but I'm having pretty good success with it. In the description, I've got an affiliate link to Amazon on getting this brushless system, the G2 MBL, and then also in the comments, if you have questions or anything that I can answer or we can go through or talk about, feel free to comment below.